Moje jméno je Anežka Adamíková a jsem z organizace Czechdesign a ráda bych vás přivítala na dnešní přednášce, která bude na téma udržitelnost, cirkulární, ekonomika a vlastně o vývoji produktů a materiálů v IKEA. Přednášku bude mít Reid, která se právě tímhletím tématem IKEA dlouhodobě zabývá. A dřív než pozvu Caroline za náma na pódium, nebo tady dopředu, tak bych ještě ráda představila Romana Bojko, který je manažer pro udržitelný rozvoj pro Česko, Slovensko a Maďarsko a který s vámi na začátku nasdílí čísla a různé informace o tom, jak je na tom IKEA s udržitelností tady, a dávám takový zajímavý intro pro celou tu přednášku. A po té přednášce bude následovat diskuze. Ta diskuze bude probíhat v angličtině, stejně jako celá ta přednáška. Takže potom ty dotazy, pokud možno, tak si připravte právě v angličtině. Kdyby to náhodou pro vás nebylo úplně komfortní, tak klidně můžete dotaz položit v češtině a my se ho pokusíme nějak přeložit. A to hlavní dneska je, abyste si to užili a abyste se něco zajímavého dozvěděli. And I'll switch to English now for those who are speaking English. Today, Reid will talk about sustainability and circular economic. And today will be in English, also the discussion after. And if you feel comfortable with English in the discussion, ask in Czech and we'll translate it. And before Caroline starts, Roman Bojko will introduce some data about sustainability here in region Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary. And today is for you to enjoy it. So enjoy it. So Roman, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Anežka. I prepared my slides in Czech. So who needs the English translation right now? Or can you all speak Czech? I don't have the English translation. Sure. I think we can manage. Tak, okay. Welcome to the IKEA. Welcome to the IKEA in Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary. And welcome to the IKEA Point, very special place for IKEA in the region. We have started a journey in 1991, so it's 28 years since IKEA has entered Czech Republic. And since then, a lot of things has changed. And I think one thing has stayed at the same time since the beginning, and that's the vision. So we have the vision to create a better life for many people. And how we do it through furnishing their homes through the furniture and home furnishing accessories. So that stays the same for the beginning, and I would say that's also the key that is shaping our vision and the connection to the sustainability. Ingvar himself was grown up in a very poor area in Sweden, when from the beginning he was quite a natural connection to being careful about how he's using or not using resources in a correct way, how he treats the environment, because he knew that the environment then pushed back. So I think that's something that is in the value, in the roots, and it's also in the vision, but it's also in the strategy. And since the beginning, we have also have a strategy how we want to be seen, but also what we want to do in terms of sustainability. And this is the current strategy called People and Planet Positive, where we define the concrete steps and commitments how we like to make IKEA sustainable and what is our vision for the future. And this is what this event will be about. But in general, it's a connecting to you, to how do you live at home and how we can help you to live more sustainable life at home. And it's not only about this air purificators and LEDs, but it's maybe about further we can go in terms of how you can live more happier, more healthier at home, growing your own food or producing your own energy. So that's a movement we would like to be part of. We would like to inspire more than 1 billion people around the world to live such a life. And as an example, I can use the veggie hot dogs. Have you tasted the veggie hot dogs in Czech Republic? Yes. So I will use an example here. So it's a silly thing in a way, because hot dog is a hot dog, but we also know that in Czech Republic one of the major negative contributor to the climate change and environmental impact we have is through consumption of the meat. And then we would like to give those people who like the hot dogs also give different alternatives, so they don't need to always avoid the hot dog, but they can have a different version, at least once a week, once a month, or once a year, but to also start shaping their mindset in terms what are the options that I can consume. And at the moment you can see it's 15, now it's around 15% of the total sales of the hot dogs are the veggie hot dogs, so it's not a minor thing anymore, it's important for us. And the second part that we will be speaking quite a lot, it's this part about the circularity and our impact on the climate. So it's about our stores, and it's about decreasing the footprint of our stores. It's about sorting of the waste, about the way we transport the goods to you. That should be 100% done by electric vehicles by 2025, also in Czech Republic. And the third part is about how are we as a neighbor, so what kind of impact we can have, a positive impact we can have to everybody that is in touch with IKEA in the community, as co-workers of our suppliers, as our own co-workers, as a communities that are in need, where we can have an impact through our expertise and our knowledge. So that's what is these are the three pillars of sustainability as we understand it. And then one of the examples I used, the second one regarding the products and the more sustainable life at home, is that it's also about the services we provide. So here I took the druhý život nábytku, the second life of the furniture, that we have introduced in Czech Republic in 2017, November. On a monthly basis, around 400 pieces of furniture that we buy and sell. And what we have realized is that it takes 1.5 day since you bring the chair to the store until the new customer buy it. So there is a lot of interest also in Czech Republic in second-hand furniture and buying it. And we are quite surprised that it goes out so quickly. It's also about the leading by example. So at the stores, what we can do is we can sort 96% of the waste we produce. More than that waste goes to the recycling or to the energy production. But we know it's also not the end. We should also think about reducing the waste and using the waste in a more circular way. So use it as an input to our suppliers, and that's the future. We also look into what kind of energy we source. So at the moment we source only the green energy and renewable energy to our stores, and we also constantly reduce the consumption per meter square. For example, by large investments into LEDs, because we believe in LEDs, and if we sell the LEDs, we should also equip all the stores with the LEDs. So that's and it has a positive impact on the consumption. And last but not least is also about the communities, and I picked an example of Together With You project, through which we every year support more than 20 organizations by donating the furniture and the money to the project they need, because we believe that what we can help with is the expertise, how to furnish the orphanage house or the NGOs, and we know that the environment and, for example, kids are growing up in has a significant impact on their future as well. So this is the examples that I wanted to bring you to, so we have some kind of idea of how are we in terms of sustainability. If you will have any questions, I will be here also all night long until the closing of the space. But I think the important messages that we would like to also share with you is that everybody of us could be part of the change, and me and I would say that I'm coming from Slovakia, but I had this very strong feeling that it's not easy as an individual to have impact on a society. And I was grown in society that was kind of saying, do stuff like the others do. Don't be different, and don't. But I believe that we need a change, and I think you are part of the generation that has to be part of the change. Otherwise, you and the next generations will suffer huge issues. So this is also the event how we would like to engage you and also start a discussion with you on how maybe in future we can do some of these changes together. So welcome, and that's it from Aneška to introduce.
Thank you, Roman, and before Caroline starts, don't hesitate to ask any question during her talk if you want to be clear what's going on. It's better to clarify during, and you can think about your question for the discussion after. And Caroline, she is a sustainability development lead IKEA of Sweden. She's been in IKEA for 13 years on various positions in sustainability. So she's got a really good insights what it means in daily life in IKEA. So I'll pass to Caroline to share with you her thoughts.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is working. Good. Okay. Oh, it's loud. We want to be affordable. We want to be convenient. And we want to take care of our planet. And to do that, we will transform into a circular business. So my name's Caroline Reid, as you heard. I'm Sustainability Development Manager, IKEA Range and Supply. IKEA Range and Supply, we're based in Sweden, and our responsibility is to design and produce all the products that you see when you go to an IKEA store or point like you are today. I lead a team that works with taking the strategy and actually creating approaches and directions for new topics that aren't today part of our kind of normal ways of working. And circularity is a big movement for IKEA. And as you heard, we have the sustainability strategy, People, Planet, Positive, with 3 focus areas. Circularity actually can be seen in all different focus areas, but I'm going to zoom in on the second focus area, which is called climate and circular and climate positive. But I can't talk about everything today. I'd love to, so we're going to zoom into circularity. And please do interrupt if there's anything that doesn't make sense, if I speak too fast, because unfortunately I'm a native English speaker, so it does happen. I get excited and start speaking quickly. Or if you just want to ask something that's you can't wait till the end, do interrupt me. I like that. Okay, so the second change driver or focus area, we will by 2030 become climate positive and regenerate resources while growing the IKEA business. It's quite ambitious. It means we're going to have a positive impact on our planet and resources, and we're going to keep growing, and this is possible. How? Well, it's to do with circularity. And why circular? Why IKEA is going to take on circularity? There's 2 reasons. One is around you guys, or me, changing our customers, where our behavior is changing. And the second point is around resource scarcity. So when it comes to changing customer behaviors, we've done a lot of research all over the world, speaking to customers, current customers, future customers, to have their insight on what they feel about things in their home. And we got some valuable insights. And what we see is that people are moving much more than they used to do. Who here has moved within the last year? Hands up. Okay. Who has moved twice within the last year? A few of you. 3 times within the last year. 4 times. Oh, okay. Oh, 5? No. Okay, but you're representing what we're seeing globally. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, people maybe moved 3, 4, 5 times their life. Now you're maybe moving 5 times within 1 year. And what does that mean? Well, it means that your needs from a home furnishing perspective are constantly changing. I mean, first that you need to have things quite easy to assemble, disassemble, take with you, but also each space you live in might need different types of furniture based on the size of the place. Are you sharing the place with lots of people? Are you living alone? And these change in needs that's happening so quickly makes it quite difficult to just have a kind of own a range of furniture to complete an apartment. But people also don't want to feel wasteful. Who has thrown away a piece of furniture in the last year? A few people. Who has kind of held something up and been like, what do I do with this when I move, but I don't really want to throw it away? Yeah, you know that feeling, right? I have that feeling. I have it because I have small children, and they grow super fast. And every 6 months, I'm like, oh no, what do I do with this now? We don't need it. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want to be wasteful. But there needs to be convenient channels to put that stuff that you no longer want, right? I mean, you want to be able to get new things in that fulfill the needs you have at that moment, but at the same time, you need to be able to get rid of the stuff that you don't need, make space for the new in a convenient way, because we don't have much time the way we live today either. Who has lots of time in their life? No, no free time. So these are kind of the things we're seeing. I mean, customers are changing behavior. We're living differently. We're moving a lot. We also actually have less money, or we want to spend our money on different things. We prioritize all around the world. We're seeing people are prioritizing experiences now over things as well. We still want nice things, but we're prioritizing our money on experiences. So we need things that are affordable, that create good value. We don't want to be wasteful. We need convenience in our life, and also, we're all citizens of this planet. Who has had a thought in the last month where you thought, this is probably not very good for the planet, what I'm doing? Yeah. Everyone, probably. And that's the other thing. I mean, we really need to, we're all very conscious that we want to do our part to live in a sustainable world, but we also need support. And Circular IKEA might be able to kind of swoop in and do that, or let's hope so. The second reason we need to look into circularity is we are a business, and we do want to continue to grow. Many other people want to continue to grow too, and more people our population on the planet is increasing as well. So the resource needs from everyone on our planet is increasing. There's research that says by 2050, we're going to have a gap of 80 billion tons of material. So we're going to be missing, not IKEA, but as a planet, we'll have a need for a certain amount of material, and we'll actually miss about 80 billion tons if we continue to use kind of raw materials, stuff from the earth as we do today. For IKEA, if we continue to grow as we plan and don't change our business model, we'll be missing about 80 million tons of material by 2030. So we'll have kind of, customers ready to buy things, we'll want to sell things, and we won't have the material to make our products. So there's actually a business need also, a business reason to go into circularity. And I can say, working for IKEA, and I have for many years, we really believe in people, planet, positive. Sustainability is in IKEA's heart, but also the best sustainability solutions are the ones where there's a business opportunity as well. And this is actually one of those. So what is circular? Does everyone know what circular is? One person? Couple? Yeah. I'm sure a few of you have seen what I'm going to present. IKEA's got their own take on what circularity is. But basically, this is not what circularity is. This is what our business model looks like today. This is what most companies' business models look like today. If we take this wonderful orangutan as an example. Okay, so it's made of polyester, I think, or some kind of synthetic textile, which means we take oil from the ground, we bring it up to the surface, we convert this oil into some kind of polymer, we then make it into some different textiles, part suppliers. We take it to an IKEA supplier where they sew this lovely orangutan together and fill him up. And then we pack him in some packaging and we put him in the truck, hopefully an electric vehicle where there's no emissions, and we drive it to an IKEA store or here. And then you as a customer come and buy the orangutan. I did. And you go home and you give it to your child and they really enjoy this orangutan for a couple of years, and then suddenly they're like, this is so not cool, I do not need this orangutan anymore. And maybe you're moving and you need to downsize and you really don't need this orangutan in your life anymore. So, like we said, a lot of people are like, what do? Throw it away. But that's not what we want to do. So this is a circular business. This is how we want our business to look. So let's keep the orangutan for a moment as an example. So we're the customer. IKEA wants to help you to prolong the life of this orangutan. We do not want to kill orangutans. But no, we want to prolong the life of this orangutan, prolong the life of all our products. And you, as a customer, don't want to feel wasteful either. So how can we, as IKEA, support you to make sure that this orangutan has a second life, a third life? Because really, if you throw this in the washing machine, probably some other child could quite enjoy this moving on. So how do we get this to the next child and the next child and the next child? But after some time, the way kids play with stuff, it's probably going to have some holes in it, for example. So that's the next loop. The first loop, right, we've prolonged the life of the orangutan. He's maybe gone through 3 or 4 different families, but he needs to be refurbished. So how can IKEA support with that? Maybe we can be as simple as we have sewing services. For an orangutan, that's maybe what all that's needed. For some other products, we might need some more complex services. But that's what we need to do. Then when he's really, really looking kind of had it, maybe he's all no hair left on him, he can go back and actually be remanufactured. We can send him back and he can be opened up. The filling we could probably reuse again very easily into new soft toys. So we could just take out all the filling and put him in new soft toys. So therefore we don't need to take any more virgin raw material, right? And then the final loop, if we really can't do anything else, is that he would be fully recycled. He'd be melted down, I guess, back into some kind of polymer and then remade into a textile again. So what have we done? We've removed the landfill incineration part at the end. We have a closed loop. We probably do need to have raw material at some point. Materials do kind of downgrade over time. But we have made a commitment that by 2030, we will have only renewable and recycled material in IKEA. So we will no longer take oil from the ground, basically. No virgin fossil oil by 2030. So that's a circular business. That's what we want to do. Does it make sense? Yes. But there is a lot we need to... Oh, no, before I stop. Okay. But there's a lot that we need to change throughout IKEA to really make this happen. We need to make changes all the way from how we actually design our products, because that's where it starts. And I'm going to come to that in a minute. I mean, 80% of probably the whole impact of the product is decided at the design stage. Then we need to change how we source materials, how we use materials, how we produce things, and also how we, where and how we meet you, our customers. So there's a lot we need to change, but first I'm going to show a nice little clip that summarizes what I just tried to tell you.
If we take a look around at how we live today, what do we see? Well, we see a world of rapid climate change, dwindling resources, and unsustainable consumption. A linear world where raw materials are turned into products that are eventually turned into waste. What a waste. What if there was a better way? We've talked to people all around the world, and we know for a fact that nobody really wants to be wasteful. But the world today is not set up to make a new, resourceful way of living easy. IKEA wants to change that. What if new things could be made from old things? Then products wouldn't just be products. They would be resources, material banks for the future. But before we can even think about doing that, so much more needs to happen. Like designing products so that we can easily repair, renew, or upgrade them. And making sure it's easy for every single piece to be repurposed or remanufactured, and then, at the very end, recycled. Things would last so much longer, and we could all play our part by reselling or passing them on, moving us closer to a world without waste. We need a new mindset, a new way to make products live multiple lives. At IKEA, we're committed to transforming our complete business to become circular so that we can make it easier for people to live better and more sustainable lives with the products we make, until one day they are needed somewhere else by someone else as something else entirely.
So that film does a really good job at summing up what I just tried to say in 5 minutes. But okay, so circularity. We need to enable and engage with customers in new ways, because we need to really work out how do we all actually acquire things to start with. If I want to buy a new pair of jeans, I'll go online, or I go to a store and I buy a new pair of jeans. If I want to buy a new sofa, I'll log into IKEA and I order a sofa. But if you want to buy secondhand, sometimes it's a bit more tricky. You may be, there's lots of local solutions, but it's quite hard sometimes to find what you're actually looking for. So how can IKEA support, for example, in the buying secondhand market? And we heard Roman mention secondhand here in Czech. There's also many other opportunities. There's possibilities to rent. Last week, IKEA, which is IKEA's largest retailer and who owns the stores here in Czech, announced that they will start doing renting of furniture in the Netherlands for students, which makes so much sense, because as students, right, how often you move probably even more than, you know, people that are no longer students. I would assume. When you first move out of home, you don't have any furniture. Maybe you don't have huge amounts of money to buy new furniture. And you maybe only need something for a very short period of time. So IKEA will start to do a renting service in the Netherlands for students to see how that goes. But that should be a service that then is affordable and convenient for students and has a positive impact on the planet and supports circularity. What it also means is IKEA make sure we get back the products after the students use them, so we're able to kind of have that loop to really support refurbishment, manufacturing, and keeping these materials in a closed loop. We also announced last week that in Sweden and Switzerland, we'll start to do rental and subscription services for office furniture with a similar idea. That businesses change quite frequently and they change furniture and needs, and so we will do that. And there's many, many more opportunities, and we've probably just, it's just the tip of the iceberg right now, how we as IKEA, but how society, how all of us can engage in how we acquire things in more sustainable ways. But of course, buying new is also part of the loop. At times, new things will be bought, but it won't be the only way. How do we care for things? It's really important. Like I say, we want to prolong the life of a product. And if something is cared for and maintained and can be repaired, we can have it for longer. So this is something we also need to look into, and it's maybe as simple as IKEA has more spare parts for our furniture. So when you've disassembled and reassembled in your new apartment and you realize, oh, you've lost some screws along the way, we simply have those spare parts, all the way to do we have services to help you, for example, upgrade your kitchen fronts, because maybe you want a different color, but do you need to have new kitchen doors, or is there a service to help you make your kitchen fronts a new color? So there could be many different options there as well. And we're really just at the start. And also IKEA, I don't know if you heard, we bought an organization called TaskRabbit in the USA, which is an organization that comes, or a company that comes and does repair services in your home. And now they're connecting it very much to the IKEA business. And that's the idea, is that will spread globally as well. to support this care and maintenance idea. And then finally, when you're really finished with your product, how do we actually help you pass on? And again, it's like what I've been talking about, it's convenience. How can IKEA support in a way to enable you to easily donate or return or resell or recycle your products? So you don't sit there going, oh, what do I do with this? I don't want to throw it, but it's just, I don't have time to do anything but throw it in the bin. And let's get to the designing part. How many? I heard that a few of you were designers, is that right? Hands up. Yeah? Some of you design students? Okay, what are the rest of you? I thought lots of you were going to be designers. I'm just so interested. Can you shout out what like your field of interest or working is? Sustainability? IT? Great. IT. I think IT is so like part of the future when it comes to this whole circular model. Okay, but when we come to the design, for those of you that design IT solutions or products or whatever you're designing, you probably decide just about 80% of what is the impact that product's going to have on the planet is actually decided at the design phase. So we really need to do it right from the start. How do we design the product to enable it to go through the loops of the reuse, repair, refurbish, and remanufacture? And IKEA has developed 9 circular design principles, which are... and I'm not going to go through all, but these are what they are. And I'm going to show some examples of what these principles, why we've started to look into them, and some examples of some products. But obviously, just to name some few, like design for disassembly, reassembly. Again, we're moving a lot. Make sure our furniture can be easily taken apart and put back together. Not that you can take it apart and then it falls apart and you can never use it again. Or that it's easily adaptable based on your changing lifestyle. Also, it's designed for recycling, for example, that actually at the end of the life, it easily goes into recycling flows. Here is an example of a sofa. The sofa is called Vimle. And here you are in your apartment with friends over with your 3-seater sofa, right? Some of you have a 3-seater sofa today. It's kind of common, it's comfy. Then you and your partner have a baby. And you have another baby, and you buy a bigger place, and you have more people to sit in your sofa. What do you do with your sofa? Do you sell the sofa, buy a new sofa? What do you do? Well, with this sofa, it's been designed for adaptability, so it's modular. So you can actually buy a different part for the sofa instead. You can make it bigger very easily. And you can buy new covers, because maybe the covers you had in your apartment just don't really feel right in your new house, or maybe they just weren't very fresh anymore. And so very quickly, most of the sofa is still the same material, but very quickly you've transformed it into something new. And you haven't needed to go and buy a whole new sofa, and you haven't put a whole old sofa potentially in landfill or incineration. And this is what design for circularity is all about. So we're trying very much to design our products now with modularity in mind, with adaptability in mind. And likewise, if you are living somewhere big and you go somewhere small, you know, you get divorced, you need a small sofa in your new place just for you and your lover, well, you can do that too. Okay. And here's an example. It's a similar example, right? So it's a baby bed that over time transforms into a toddler bed, so you don't need to keep getting new products. Design for expected lifespan is one part of our design principles. We should design products, we should say, how long do we think this product should actually live, or be not live, but I mean, how long do we expect this product to be in these cycles, right, before it's kind of the end of the life? How long do we think a straw should live? Any ideas? 3 years? Anyone keep a straw for 3 years? What do we think? Someone? Oh, yeah, okay, but in use, how long do we think we want to use the straw for? 10 minutes? Yeah, something like that, right? So we have single-use products, and we're making them from a plastic that probably would last hundreds of years if we wanted to. Plastic is a fantastic material. It's very durable, it's cheap, it's lightweight, but it's definitely the wrong material for a single-life product, because you use this product for 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if you're a slow drinker. Depends how fast you drink your cocktails. But yeah, why do we make it from plastic? So we really need to kind of ask ourselves as designers, I'm pointing at myself, I'm not a designer, I wish I was, but we need to ask designers, you know, and product developers, make sure you pick the right material for the type of product you're making. So we've taken the decision, IKEA has, that by 1st of January 2020, we don't sell any more single-use plastic products because it doesn't make any sense. It's not within circular thinking. So we have to find out some new innovative materials, because what should you make maybe single-use products that last 30 minutes or 10 minutes with? Let's see. Like this plastic straws we have right now. Yes, we will. Your question is, will we continue selling the plastic straws we've already made? Yes. I think it would be even worse for our planet if we didn't even try to use those straws, because if we didn't, they would go directly to incineration or landfill, or hopefully recycling. But so we will put them out there in the market. We also had about a year's time between making the decision and the cutoff. And the reason we had that is because we also have responsibility for people. We have a long supply chain. We have a supplier that we've made commitments to buying very big volumes, right? So we can't say from one day to the next, we're not going to buy anything from you, because then lots of people will lose their job overnight. We need to find new products, long life products that the supplier can make. So that's why we have that those timelines. And it's funny because before I started working at IKEA, okay, this is a bit side point, but before I went to work for IKEA as a student, I was like, these companies, why do they always take so long to make changes? But when I've been in IKEA some time, you realize that you as a big company, you actually have a lot of responsibility for the people in your supply chain as well. One part is the environmental thing, the other part is the people, and we need to take responsibility. Anyway, so design for expected lifespan is another important one. And here's the toilet brush. Because we have long discussions in IKEA range of supply. How long do you keep a toilet brush for? How long do you, what's the lifespan of a toilet brush? It's definitely, we all agree, it's not something you want to inherit, right? So it's not something that's going to be passed on through the generations. That we've all agreed on. But how long you keep a toilet brush for, it really varies. Apparently in Germany, any Germans here? It's like a single-use product. You have it for about a month and you get a new one. I don't know. In Sweden, we seem to keep it a bit longer. But the question is, what should we actually be making a toilet brush from? We probably shouldn't be making it also from a plastic that lasts a couple hundred years, because no one wants to inherit a toilet brush. So this is the kind of stuff that our product development teams and our designers are thinking about right now. It's not all super glamorous. But here's an example of upgradability again, or changing over lifespan. A lot of children products are, because children change very quickly. But it's a lamp. It's got some really cute details on it. It's made from 100% recycled material, plastic, which is good. It's relatively easy to recycle at end of life, which is another design principle, just circular principle. But these balls and the flag, they can just be clipped off. So as your child grows and no longer wants kind of a very baby or childlike lamp, you clip them off and then you have a quite simple lamp. So you can keep the lamp for longer. Storage boxes, quite a basic thing. A great sustainability product actually, because they usually help us to reduce our food waste at home. But we sell these in as separates. So often when you go to buy food storage boxes, you get the box and the lid, right, together. It's quite common. But if the lid breaks, or you lose the lid, or the bottom breaks, then you have to go buy another, and you end up with too many lids at home, or you end up with too many bottoms at home, right? You know that problem? It's so annoying. And so all we've done is we sell them separately. So, if you lose some lids, you can go buy some new lids, but you don't need to buy the bases. It's just these really simple things, actually, you can do to make a product or a range of products more circular, prolonging their life. IKEA has invested heavily in something we call Home Smart, which is lots of different devices kind of around the home with, I'm going to sound really, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about it's going to sound like, because I have IT people here, but things, that help you connect in your home to the cloud, right? I don't know. But all these things that we develop are compatible with Apple and Google and everything else. So again, it's like to enable you to use something in your life in a convenient way. So it's not that you have a load of stuff and suddenly it's outdated and it doesn't work with all the other technology you have. We make sure our stuff is compatible with all the other technology out there. So that was some examples of design for circularity. There's many more, but we are on a journey, and we don't actually have any product today that ticks off all the 9 circular principles, but we are really challenging our designers, and by 2030, all IKEA products shall have circular capabilities. But we also, what's really important is we see that our products are material banks for the future, as I also said, because we need to make sure this materials stay in our loops. We're not going to have enough material otherwise in the future. And so the Istad bag, it's a very simple, reusable Ziploc plastic bag, right? It's made from a renewable material, so it's a sugar cane is used to make the plastic. It's reusable, so we try to prolong the life, and we're trying to communicate that more to our customers, that it's not just single use. Wash it out, reuse it. But at end of life, it's also a PE fraction, a very common plastic that goes into recycling very easily and can then go back into loops. So it's about keeping that material, like the material bank for the future. There's a lot of things on the market that say like biodegradable bags or compostable bags. These are actually really hard to be recycled again and again. So it's actually really important, like when we look into our products, that we see it is a material bank for a future. We'll be able to use this material in the future, and we won't kind of lose it in recycling chains. Okay, I don't know how I'm with time. Hopefully I'm okay, yeah. And it's about smarter use of resources. There's a lot of waste in the world today that no one knows what to do with. And how can we actually start to look at waste and say, well, this is also a resource. How can we make this, say, in a material, rather than it just be a waste that's damaging our planet? Ocean plastic pollution or ocean pollution is definitely one of those kind of challenges. Everyone probably has heard that our oceans are full of plastic. 8 million tons of plastic enter our oceans annually, mainly in Southeast Asia, but it happens all over the world. And yeah, we need to stop that happening, because the oceans produce about 50% of the oxygen on our planet. So every second breath, breathe twice. Oh, that was produced by the ocean. So if our oceans die, yeah, we'll die, I guess. So, I mean, really, it's actually really, really, really serious. I mean, we can't just have plastic filling up our oceans, right? I mean, it's really harming our ecosystems. So what can IKEA do about oceans? I mean, we're not that connected, but we do use a lot of plastic in products. So we've teamed up together with some other brands. It's called Next Wave is the initiative. HP Inc. is one of the brands. There's Dell, GM Motors, Trek Bikes. There's lots of different companies are part of this initiative. And it's about creating commercially scalable supply chains of ocean-bound plastic. So we want to make sure that we intercept the plastic on land and bring it back into recycling loops and back into our products. Because one thing is we could go out into the ocean and start scooping out the plastic from there too. And there's no harm in doing that. But it's quite a difficult job. And it's actually just easier to say, okay, let's just stop the flow of plastic going to the ocean. Let's really try to make sure that all plastic on land is collected and goes into recycling flows. So that's one thing of like looking, okay, where is there just no need? Why is this plastic ending up in the ocean? A lot of the plastic is multi-layer flexible food packaging. What can we do with that? So this is the stuff that IKEA together with others is looking into. I mean, where can we have innovation? Where can we take material that no one wants and actually somehow make it into something else? Has this died? There we go. We also are working with lots of other people in India, because India, if some of you know, has really bad air pollution. Delhi, I think, is the most polluted city in the world. And a lot of the air pollution comes from actually agricultural burning, farmers burning their crops. So what are they burning? They're burning rice straw after the rice harvest. Well, maybe we can use that rice straw. So maybe it's actually a material that could be used in products, and maybe then it would have a double benefit. We wouldn't have to maybe use other material from our planet, At the same time, we would be able to reduce air pollution because they wouldn't be burning. So IKEA is working with a lot of people in India to see if we can use this rice straw in things like paper and making board. So, oh, it's strange, there's no board. Probably those desks over there have some board in them. So instead of using wood to make the board, we'll maybe use rice straw and not create a lot of air pollution at the same time. So we're going to actually announce some new products that are being made of these new materials at our Democratic Design Days in June, so I can't tell you more, but this is the kind of thing we're doing. I mean, we're looking into alternative materials. And this is something we're already doing. We're taking recycled PET bottles and transforming them into the kitchen front's Kungsbacka, and I think that might be a Kungsbacka behind you. So it's made of recycled PET bottles. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I feel like I've been talking a lot at you. I hope you've got some really great questions. But what I want to also highlight is to do everything that I've been talking about today will require more than just IKEA to do this. I mean, this requires us to work together with others. I mean, collaboration is key in everything we need to do going forward. We don't have all the answers. We definitely don't have all the answers, but we know where we want to go. And we really believe we can go there. We really need to collaborate with others. We had a discussion just a minute ago. IKEA is very large, so we can have a very big positive impact, but we're a bit like a big, container ship. It takes some time to move, but once we move, it's like we create a wave, and also a lot of people, a lot of small ships then come along with us as well, which is usually very positive. So to sum up circularity, we have 4 major commitments, or main commitments around it. 100% circular products by 2030, based on the circular design principles. Only renewable recycled materials by 2030, so no virgin oil going into our products. New ways for you and me as customers to acquire, care for, and pass on things. And we will take the lead and join forces with others to really make this movement happen. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something, and I'm so happy to now learn from you based on the questions you have. Or maybe I need to hand over first. No? Yeah? We good for questions?
Yeah, we can start with questions.
Yes. I'll take a seat beside orangutan here.
Yeah, thank you very much for all your insights. It was very insightful. And I'll start with a question, but don't hesitate to raise your hand. We've got Mike here, so we'll give you mic, and then you can ask the question, so everyone will hear it. And I'll start with the first one. Like you mentioned, like IKEA is a large company, and it takes time to change everything. And during your talk, that was in my mind, like how long that actually takes to replace some material in the product or the manufacturing process. How long does it take, and how difficult it is? What are the obstacles on the way?
I think it can be very quick, and I think sometimes it can take much more time. IKEA is a responsible company where we have quite high requirements for the materials, for example, going into our products. So to go from a material that we know a lot about, that's easy to test and fulfill all the requirements, to go to some new innovative material, sometimes the challenge is getting it up to the level that fulfills all our requirements, and that can take time. But other times it can go very quickly, and then we do make the change. We don't wait. I mean, we do it as quickly as we can. But we are big, so it's also sometimes it's about taking it step by step. So maybe we try out first if we're going to change a material in a range of 10 chairs, maybe then we just try out in 1 chair for the first year. So to learn and build up the supply chain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there any question from you already? Okay.
Hi, my name is Lucy. Thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. I have several questions. I'll start with one concerning your goal to replace all the raw materials with reusable or recycled materials by 2030. You mentioned that you will no longer use oil, what was it called?
Virgin oil.
Virgin oils. But you didn't mention wood, and I can see here that many of your products are actually made of wood. So how about trees? What are you going to replace these cabinets with? Like, what kind of materials are you going to use instead of wood?
That's a good question. So we say that by 2030 we'll only use renewable and recycled material. So wood is a renewable material for us because it's you can plant another tree. What's really important to us is about what we call more sustainable sourcing, and it's making sure that the forests are managed in a responsible and sustainable way, so that we make sure that we have forests for the future, for our planet, and also then a wood supply from that. Yeah. I don't think IKEA is very well known for wood, so I don't think we're going to move away from wood anytime soon. But recycled wood is also something that we are increasing use of.
And then I was wondering, in order to make all these changes connected with the production and replacing the materials, I imagine you will have to invest a lot of money into new maybe machines or something like that, educating your employees and stuff like that. Are you going to increase prices of your products significantly due to these changes?
Like I said, I mean, IKEA's ambition is to be an affordable company and also to bring sustainable options to the many. We don't see it as a sustainable solution if it can only be for the few, because for something to be sustainable, it has to reach the many people. So no, we are not going to increase our prices to customers for sustainability reasons, and that's where we think there are opportunities to actually be had. Sometimes you need to make short-term investments, but in the long term, often there is a price parity or a lower price. That's a sustainable solution.
And last question is about the first kind of circle where you are encouraging people to either exchange or somehow repair the products they already have. And you suggested that maybe IKEA may be able to help them by offering some services where they could fix broken products or repaint them or refurnish them and so on. Are you looking into maybe working with schools, like vocational schools, to get the right employees to do this? Because I guess in your factories there are people working, with the machine doing basically the same task all over and over, and these kind of repairs may need somebody who is a little bit more skilled.
Yeah, no, I think that's also, it's something we're, again, learning along the way, and I don't think we have all the answers, but I think there's a couple things there. One is we have, we talk about social initiatives and social entrepreneurs, and there we've seen also a big opportunity to actually work with small local initiatives, social entrepreneurs to support in these areas. But I think it was also, like I mentioned at the very end, this is not something IKEA can do alone. It's something we need to do kind of in society. So it's also maybe about connecting up. IKEA can maybe connect you up to the right skilled workers rather than, I don't think you're right. I think it's not about using the same workforce that exists today, perhaps.
Any other question? Nebo nějaká otázka? Klidně se pokusíme přeložit. Prosím, počkat na mikrofon.
Hello, my name is Jan. I have a question regarding the second-hand market. You were mentioning it, and also Roman at the beginning, that you somehow want to increase the number of swapping of the products. If you are somehow monitoring the situation on Facebook Marketplace or any other online shops.
I think we're monitoring everything, to be honest. I think we're doing a lot of exploration at this time and trying to learn how and where. Hello? Oh, now it's back on. But maybe you want to add there.
Yes, we do. We do also in practice. So when we are looking on different markets, we are also looking on the competition, and we also include. We see the growth. The last numbers I remember is around 5% of the market. So it's, you have different people buying new things, and you already have a significant portion of people who are buying the second hand. So it definitely is a growing trend.
If you have any question for Roman, you can ask him as well. Okay, there is another 2 questions. So let's start with this one.
Okay, I start. Your job sounds exciting. What you do every day?
Yeah.
What's your day-to-day job?
I think I reflect I'm probably one of the luckier people in this world. Yeah, for sure.
So what you do every day?
What do I do every day? It varies a lot. I manage a team of project leaders who work on different topics. I sometimes work on my own projects as well. I worked on the ocean plastic pollution project. It's always great to really be on the ground and see the reality and see where we can make a positive impact. I meet all different parts of our value chain daily. I speak to product design teams. I speak to purchasers who are out there in the world. I meet with universities about material innovation. It really varies, and the scope is broad. I also spend quite a lot of time, or not a lot of time, I wish I spent more, but also just scanning what are the movements happening out there with sustainability, and where do I see that IKEA could have a positive impact. Yeah.
There was another question over there.
Okay. Hello, my name is Janja Pulpánova. I'm from Environmental Agency, and I would like to ask you about the PET bottles, because you are using them a lot for different kind of using, and also for creating some clothes, some material. But when you from PET bottles create some clothes, some like blankets, and during the washing and everything, you develop bleaching some microplastic. If you are thinking about still using this material, while we know by this we are creating microplastics which end up in the water, and which we breathe and which we eat and all of this, or if you would like to stop with it.
Microplastics is a big concern for IKEA. It's something we've been looking into for about a year. Unfortunately, there aren't any developed test methods globally, how to really test your products and to see how products are shedding. What we have learned over the last year, and it's nothing we're stopping, I mean, we're continuing our research, is that car tires are the biggest contributor to microplastics, also paints and cosmetics. But yes, all our synthetic textiles do also shed. We've been doing investigations both looking into actual production and what happens in production and during textile production and at the end user. And we are trying to finalize and hopefully soon have a test method we can use to test our products. Once we can do that, we can actually then take some decisions going forward. But to be very open and transparent, before you can actually test your products, it's very hard to take business decisions and take the business consequences. But I think a lot is about customer awareness as well, which is something that we really want to look into. Yeah, I'm sure that was not the best answer that you were hoping for, but actually one interesting finding, it's nothing to be conclusive about yet because academically you apparently need to do more tests, but not IKEA, but there's been some tests recently that have seemed to show that recycled polyester sheds less than virgin polyester, which is a really interesting finding. So at least the direct going away from virgin fossil towards recycled, at least it's going in the right direction from that perspective, but it's not conclusive. Yeah.
Hello, I would like to have a question which is quite closely connected to the previous one. Is it about if IKEA is working on designing new materials which are going to be more in the vision of the circular economy? It means you talk a lot about recycling, but the current materials are usually used or designed in a way to be just used once.
Yeah.
So they are degrading by the time. So if you are like working on making new materials which will be designed on the way to use them again and recycle them again.
Yeah, I mean, we need to look into materials that are more durable so that the products can last for longer in some cases. In some cases, it's the opposite. We need to have less durable materials, actually. They're lasting too long. But yes, there are a lot of discussions ongoing about that. I think what's also interesting about circular economy is there's a kind of conflict probably between, and this is not just IKEA, but I see it at IKEA, there's a conflict between trying to find innovative materials where we can use waste, for example. At the same time, a circular economy would probably work best if there was very few materials used in society. Because to make it simple, if food packaging, if every single food manufacturer used exactly the same type of food packaging material, all that would be, then there'd be very big volumes that would easily go into one recycling chain. Today it's really diverse. So there's also there's a question around how do we actually consolidate the amount of materials we use to make it easier to recycle. But then yes, durability is another issue.
Hi, I'm Adrian. I want to ask about you mentioned that you're trying to make more products which will be modular, like this sofa. But does this mean that the product will have to stay longer on the market? For example, that the person in 2 years will want to have this second part of the sofa, but it won't be already on the market and selling.
Oh, so you mean will we keep our products longer in the range and not change out? Yes, I think that's also, I can't say definitely we will or we won't, but that needs to be the direction as well. Yes.
Thank you.
And also access to spare parts for much longer if something has been discontinued. Good point.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I'm an architect.
Hi.
And I have a question about the quality, because IKEA is quite infamous for being like a low quality furniture. So how do you are you going to address this issue? Are you going to try to persuade your customers that the quality is good to be actually circular? Because at the moment I think people don't believe it really.
Yeah, I think we need to. And I think what's interesting is we've done a lot of research where you can see if something's low price, people perceive it as low quality. Because I'll also turn it around to you, and maybe you'll prove me wrong, but how much IKEA furniture have that's actually lasted quite long? Like beds, mattresses, sofa, rugs, towels, bed linen. A lot of things last and don't break, but there's a kind of perception that IKEA has low quality because we have a low price. So I think there's definitely a big need in society to somehow decouple price from quality. Yeah. Then, of course, there are probably some products that need to be made in different ways. But, there is something about changing customer perception. So if you have any ideas, please share them.
Any ideas to share? Or question to ask?
Hello, my name is Lucia, and I'm a design student. And now I'm struggling with one problem in my project, that I'm doing a product out of plastic. And I wanted to make it like from a bioplastic or something like that. But I found out that then it's going to be very expensive and not affordable for everyone. And my professor is really pushing me to get rid of the plastic and use only wood, for example. But I don't think that it's a good idea for the product that I'm doing. And I try to make it like the kind of product that you can use for many years, that will grow with the child and things like that. But I don't know if it is enough, if it's a good way, if it's enough sustainable. So this is a problem that now I have, and I don't know which way to take. So if you can please help me with this.
Wow, I think it's a challenge. I think, like I shared, that we've set a target of 2030 that we will have only renewable and recycled. I think Currently, there is big demand in the market for renewable bio-based plastics and recycled plastics, but if it's for children, I guess it would be more bio-based. And I think we'll see, it's the kind of supply and demand, and I think the bio-based feedstock industry is ramping up, and prices will start to come down at some point, but currently it can be challenging. If you're using a virgin plastic, I guess the most important thing is, long life, and also at the end of that life, make sure it's a very simple plastic fraction that is readily recyclable in most markets. I guess that would be my advice. It's step by step.
Thank you.
I've got a question. So, from your experience, maybe what are the biggest myths about sustainability that designers have?
The biggest myths about sustainability
maybe
that designers have. I mean, I don't know if I can answer only for designers, but I think general kind of myths. I think there is this question that it will cost more to be sustainable, and I think IKEA is a company that strives for low costs and actually kind of sometimes proves that actually it doesn't have to cost more to be sustainable. So I think that's maybe one myth that we can break. What other myths are there around sustainability?
Or maybe from your practice when you are talking a lot to designers or your managers or everyone else. Because people can be quite suspicious, like about the quality or the costs.
Yeah, costs is one thing. I think I'm privileged to work in IKEA because I think IKEA is a company where you don't have to fight for to push sustainability, and it's the opposite way around. Often we're saying, okay, wait, take it step by step because we don't have all the answers. So it's more actually that way around. But I think materials can be very complicated. I think when you're designing material choice, there can be myths around what is a sustainable material. Some things that we think are sustainable, we're starting to get a lot of data, LCAs and so on, that actually are comparable. Things we've thought are better might not be as good as other materials, and they're things we're learning along the way. But also it's very complex because sometimes you choose a material because it has a lower CO2 footprint, but then maybe it has a much higher water footprint. And so it's also always about balancing. There's no right or wrong, I think, when it comes to sustainability. I think we're all just trying to find our way forward. And the most important thing is you have a vision and we know where we need to go. And we will probably make mistakes along the way, but by making those mistakes, we'll learn and go in the right direction. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Caroline or for Roman? Klidně i česky. If there is no more question, I think we can thank you, Caroline, for her great talk. Also, thank you, Roman.
Thanks.
And I'll have just a few words at the end. Thank you for coming and for your time, for all your questions. And stay with Czechdesign, follow Czechdesign wherever you can. Also the same with IKEA. As you heard, there are going to be sustainability days in June. And if still you have any other question to ask or to discuss, we are here. And thank you for coming.